This is Slow Walking with Adrian. I'm here with the fellas in the man cave. Special access.
You're watching Slow Walking with Adrian, and I'm your host, Adrian Lavella. Welcome back to the last episode of the Man Cave series. It's going to be an extended episode because it's the last one. Help me welcome back my panel guest. We have Mike E. Wright, Carlos Faison, Park Stewart, Will E. Coleman, Kelly R. Woods, Michael C. Durham, Justin Anderson, and Ricky Alexander. Remember, if you missed an episode, if you need to catch up, you can always go back and watch the previous one on our YouTube channel, Slow Walking with Adrian. In the meantime, let's go back into the discussion. I particularly like this discussion because the men actually open up as they talk about their father wounds and start to reminisce. And so I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's go back into the segment.
I can relate with Will to a certain point. It wasn't to the point where the family was destroyed. Like Carlos, my biological father, he left when I was 2. And I didn't meet him. I don't remember. I think I met him for the first time when I was almost 40.
Wow.
But my mother remarried, and my stepfather, it probably would have done us some good if he had a man cave and if he did retreat to the man cave. To this day, my kids, he treat them just like they're his biological, So I don't know if it's because now he looks back, and I don't know if he had, because it's something, because once we made amends, we didn't even have to speak on it. Once we started acting like,
I just want to go back to what I said earlier, because even though my dad left at 5, and I really didn't hear from him again until I was 18. But the only memories that I do have of him was just always beating up my mother. That's the only memories I ever had of him as a kid. And so as a man, I said that is something that I would never do. And I would try to be a better man for my kids. Now, going back to the retreat part, if there was anybody that was an influence that I can say, I saw them go to their man cave, was my late uncle, because I spent every summer with them from the time I was 11 until I was 18, 19 in Indiana. And so I watched how he handled everything. A lot of stuff, and I'm kind of digressing, I guess, a little bit, but a lot of times things don't really affect men. I can only speak for me. That didn't affect me until I probably hit 30. And so a lot of stuff was going on. But the man cave thing is a place that, you can go and sit and like we've all been saying, just retreat and have those moments to just collect ourselves, just collect ourselves and stuff, so that we don't have outbursts like we may have seen or experienced or anything like that. So, bottom line is I did see my uncle retreat to his man cave, which was, in the basement of their home. So I paid attention to a lot of that kind of stuff. But again, Adrian, I think this is good because it brings out a lot of stuff in us as men, period, that we're able to talk about different things and share, stories that can even help us, even as men, even at our age, and even, with the younger men that's coming up behind us. So
I my father, I think, was listening to everybody. Just made me think about he needed a man cave. I think my father was. I have pleasant memories of things he taught me. Music. It's because of him that I listen to all types of genre of music. Uh, just different things, introducing me to jazz and things of that. And to be honest, you don't in a place of turmoil and chaos. If you don't find a place of retreat, it will send you into an early grave. I think my father died an early death. When he died, he was 52.
Wow.
Early. He was a. They teased my father. They teased me all the time. They called him an old gangster. My father was a gangster. Um, he had a accident when he was early. When his best friend died in a car accident. He was driving, and it made me understand better because I have a good mother, and my mother sat me down and told me why he was the way he was when it came to expressing his love or showing his love. And he used to tell us all the time, if I could just keep you out of jail and get you to gratitude, I'll be doing good. And if anybody knows, like Mike know where I come from, Carlos know my neighborhood. My neighborhood was like it's survival. That's like nothing to y'all to finish high school and be out of jail. But in my neighborhood, that was a big thing.
Man,
That
amazing.
was it was major.
Was it?
So I understood my father more the older I got, and I'm thank God that I had a mother that didn't talk against, but
Mm.
tried to help me to understand why he
Hmm.
was the way he was. Once I figured that out, then I had a better relationship with him, you know. And I just felt bad for him because he didn't find that place of retreat. You
Mm.
know, he was in that accident his whole life, you know, in the streets, doing certain things and just trying to keep his mind off of certain things. He was just really running from those inner demons that was making it feel like it was his fault that he killed his friend in that. And so I think he could have used the place of retreat. Matter of fact, I know he could have. Sometimes I think you can have an available place of retreat, but if you don't recognize it, you can't take advantage of it. Mother was a great place to retreat, but it didn't fit for him, you know, only when he wanted it to. It became selfish. And so I think it's good to recognize that when the place is a retreat, to be able to recognize it also. So I think it's a very good conversation.
Yeah.
I think
I appreciate you all opening up. I appreciate it. I like Parks. I'm going back a little bit. How you said the woman can be a retreat. I think that is so encouraging for women. I think it encourages us to take the road of it's okay to be the light person for him versus aggressive. It's okay to be the joy. It's okay to I'm going to use this word. It's okay to submit when you understand the balance of it. And I hate to throw that word out there because there are so many definitions. I'm actually, shameless plug, writing a book on the place of the woman, what she was intended to be. But it's okay to submit when you understand your role of, I'm going to use your words, understand your role of being that place of peace for the man. Then you understand that is a role of power, not a role of weakness. It's a role of strength. And it's great power to be able to be that for a man. So I appreciate all of you all. I don't think I've heard from all of you on that subject. If you wanted to say anything else before I moved on,
Well, I just want, I know I'm talking a lot, I apologize.
you
But
know.
to the what to respond to what you just said, and I don't know if anybody ever thinks about it like this, but not to be vulgar, but when we come together, she covers us.
Very true.
Yeah. Yes.
She covers our most vulnerable part.
Exactly.
So that's a symbolic of what God intended, because that's our heart. So it's symbolic of our heart.
A lot of times that word submissive, I think it has been it's been tainted over the years, and I think because of the world we live in today, everything is so like, oh, be independent, be your own boss. And I think we've gotten away from the fact that women are so powerful.
Right.
Yes, it's like submissive. Like when a woman knows that she can be submissive, that is, in my mind, I'm like, girl, I need to give you more credit because you are more powerful than you give yourself. Like Uncle Mike said, you got the juice.
It's a mutual submission. You submitting to her, she submitting to you. Then, like I heard earlier, that causes any conflict to be worked out.
Yep.
You know, so it's the same word. So women don't have to be weary. Men got the same responsibility.
Right.
And women, we still need you all to say, I'm sorry.
Amen.
we still need you all to say, I'm sorry sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. I want to say before I move to the next one, piggybacking off Mike's, we have the juice, and I believe we do. But and actually piggybacking off of Ricky when he said obtains favor, and that's true. Studies show that when a man is married, it doesn't say how the marriage is going. When a man is married, it adds 10 years to his life. So I just want to say, when you are with your significant other, just remember that she gave you a gift of 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
God, don't kill us in 10 years.
I'm like,
God knew we was gonna need that extra 10 years.
I'm so hot, but I'm gonna behave.
I wanna back up a little bit, and I'll just go right up to what he just said. Love covers a multitude of sin. All that really means is love covers. Love covers. Submission is not a problem when you love.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You love, who's worried about who's submitting? I do it because I love you. I don't have to demand again.
Exactly.
Supply. You know, the interpretation thereof is already starting off wrong. But I submit. What do you mean? Love submits one to another. It says submit yourselves one to another.
Right.
I wanted to say that because I think sometimes, again, we get these, I call them myths that are presented as truths.
Mm-hmm.
We have been presented a myth or a lie as it was true, and we believe it because we heard it from repetition. It's because you heard it from repetition and somebody told you the Bible, if you have the wrong interpretation, it's wrong. It's wrong. I don't care how many years they've been saying it. It's wrong. God is one of balance. Love balances out. There's no way that I have to worry about telling my wife to submit to me. She don't have to tell me, make me, do this, do that. I love her, so love gives.
Mm-hmm.
Only when we get into the element again of that selfishness that things go wrong. A good one will give you 10 good years, and a bad one will take away 10 and maybe 20.
Right.
Right.
No, I'm just telling the truth, but let's keep it real.
Yeah.
I know good and well. I got married when I was 19 to my first wife, and all those transitions of life came in, and we weren't ready for it. Bottom line, we weren't ready. It just didn't work. I got out of that relationship and got into another one because I just thought, man, if I can just get somebody to receive this love I got in, to love me for who I am, to do this, to do that. And really what I was doing, I got in on the rebound. I stayed with her for 11 years. 17 years and 11 years of being married. Never thought I was going to be divorced. Not once, but twice. See what I mean? That's why you can hear me talk like this. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about myself. I went in and allowed it to do some soul searching. This time, I'm good. It wouldn't have been somebody I wasn't out looking for. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm not a cocky person or nothing like that, but I had options. I just didn't take those options. I was just tired. I just this time I have made up my mind. I ain't gonna never do it again. Then all of a sudden, organically, here she come. And what was my only problem then? Man, it's too good to be true. And I wake up today and I still be saying, I'm a blessed man. And I like waking up being able to say, I'm a blessed man.
Man, you got Adrian clutching the pearls.
Because I had a lot of days where, nothing against my exes either. I don't want to paint a bad picture. Sometimes you can be like oil and water. You just don't mix.
Yeah.
Good products, but they don't mix well together. So I'm not talking to women that I was with before. I'm just saying the one I'm with now is the one.
Right.
I think that's rich. I think it's a given as we get older that we understand that the process of relationships that failed, they were training so that when we got with the person, we'd appreciate what we have. And oftentimes the only reason why you appreciate it is because you know what the other side looks like. And it teaches you things along the way. And maybe it ruins that one. You can't make good of that one anymore, but something is coming. And it goes back to what you were saying, just don't get tired of waiting, even though people may say it doesn't exist. It does exist. It really does exist. I tell people this, if I exist, then he exists.
Yeah.
But
wow.
The fairy tale is real. That's where I say it.
It is indeed. Let me ask you this. There are numerous write-ups that advocate for the strong belief that there's a close tie between the man cave and actually mental health. And I think you all have really touched on that, especially when you talked about the fathers. But what are your thoughts on that? Tell us what happens with you when you don't get to your man cave.
Yeah.
I'll boil over. I'll be completely honest. I'll boil slam over. And
what does boil over mean, Justin?
To boil over is to become erratic in my thought process and sort of manic or aggressive or irritable, very irritable. You know what I'm saying? I'm very reactive to stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to that place.
Anybody else?
I like what he said. I think if a man's can be honest, I can relate to what he just said from the standpoint that a lot of people say, they'll tell me all the time, man, you're always calm, you laid back, you this, you that. They have no idea that there's a complete other side. That if I go to that side, I don't want to go to that side. When you go to that side, nothing good's coming from that.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on where your mental thing, and like I said about my father and where I grew up, there's a volatile side of survival that I've experienced from where I come from that I can't allow myself to go there. I have to stay in the mental man cave of this at all times.
Right.
I leave that place of it. Because if I leave that place, it becomes a dangerous place. And it takes an honest person to admit that. You understand what I'm saying? I hear them talk and they always say, everybody want to be hard now. Everybody want to be tough. Everybody want to be a gangster. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
you don't really want that. You know, it's not like seeing somebody die, seeing somebody's head blown off. Doing this, we talk about the mental aspect of it, and at time that survival mode of where a man comes from and what he's experienced. A lot of times it's overlooked because he hasn't expressed it. But this is why it's good to get to know people, for that woman to get to know him, and for him to be able to feel secure enough and safe enough to tell you about something that vulnerable. Because somebody might look at me and say, "Oh no, that violent side of him, I ain't have nothing to do with him."
Right.
You understand what I mean? But actually, those things, the good and the bad, made me what I am today. Yeah, taught me not to go to the dark side. And if everybody's gonna be honest, they got a dark side somewhere.
That's what I wanted to say. I don't know if that's true for all of you on the panel, but I'm a mild-mannered person. I don't like conflict. I avoid it as much as possible. But there is another side that scares me. I'm scared of that dude. Oh no, not him. Oh, this God does exist, and if I don't have those times of refreshing, if I don't have those times to recollect and collect myself, then there's always the risk of that other guy who does exist showing his head. It's like David Banner and the Hulk.
Yeah, I was gonna say whether he's green or not.
You did it. Congratulations on your business. What they didn't tell you is that 24 hours in a day is just not enough for people like you who make it happen. Still working on those social media pages? We can do that for you. Haven't gotten around to building that website? Consider it done. Your business needs a logo that represents you. We do that. If only you had an assistant. Phone calls, letters, emails, an assistant. We get it, and we do that too. So tell me, is that book of yours still waiting to be edited? Let's finish it together. We are your affordable virtual team that adds 24 hours to your 24 hours. If you're asking that question, yep, we do that too. Basically virtual. You can't afford not to.
If you would like to be a sponsor of Slow Walk It with Adrian and have your business appear here, simply go to our Facebook or Instagram page, send us a DM. We'd love to have you. Now, back to our show.
And see, and I'm with it on this, and I really appreciate this format and this show, Adrian, because I didn't know what I had in my head the whole time was called a mental man cave. Because there's one thing, because Parks and I grew up blocks from each other. You feel me? So we got the same story, and we from the same hood. But the one thing that I can be on this panel and say, and for the rest of my life, is that I have never in my life put my hands on a woman to do her harm physically. And that's strictly because of the mental man cave that I had. I've had now I know some sisters have pushed some brothers to the point where they would have never done what they did if they didn't get pushed. Okay, I just can say that my mental man cave, keeping that other side wheel in check. Now I have a name for it. It was called a mental man cave, and it saved a lot of sisters from some serious, some damage that I wouldn't have been able to come back from, let alone them. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing, I ain't been an angel by no stretch of the imagination, but when I do look in the mirror and I shave, that's a question that I will never have to run from. Have you ever ABC? Right. And I can give God the credit, number one, but God placed that mental man cave inside of me. So ladies, when let your brother go to the man cave when he needs to go. If he throwing hints at you, and it's getting to that point, bring him some food, some tea, put him in there, put his feet up, put a blanket on him, and bounce, okay? And let him stay in there until he can come out. Right.
Yeah. To what my, Uncle Mike said, like, now is not the time to be pressing buttons to see where you can take him, and because that's only going to make things escalate.
Yeah.
And I like I said, we all like, if I'm getting pushed to that level, I've already started cussing you out in my head. Like,
Yeah.
don't leave me alone. And I'm just gonna be real. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put my hands on you. I want to shake you in my brain. I'm already shaking. I'm already shaking in my brain, and like in my mental man cave, I'm shaking. And I'm telling you to get out. And we're patient, but please don't push us to that level where we want to go to that dark side. We want the reason why we are cool, calm, and collect, because we know that we trying to kill him. We want him to. We don't want to bring him out.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
you know, we're fighting against him and you at the same time. That's not safe. That's not safe at all. So, you know, that's why we retreat. That's why that always trying to maintain that mental man cave is a safe place for us, because that's maintain our patience. We can think clearly.
And sometimes we wish that women had one of them little battery packs like the robot on Lost in Space that you pull out. You just go blank and silent. We be looking for that sometimes. We wouldn't have to go to a man cave, but we could find that pack on women to just pull out.
That off switch.
They came with a mute button.
A mute button even. Yeah, I take a mute button. You can keep the battery, just get a mute button.
I won't let myself go there, not go to my place, because I know that it's no good if I don't go there.
Yeah.
Early in my marriage, my wife, I'm from the Bay Area. Me and Kelly grew up right around the corner from each other. And I'm from the Bay Area. My wife was from South Central Los Angeles. She graduated from Crenshaw High School. So
she real.
She was, so she had a mouthpiece, especially early on in our marriage.
Yeah.
You know, and there was many times where I used to have to call Kelly. I used to be like, I don't know, she done spent the money, or I don't know, she done did this, and and then it's just, but if I don't have that place where I can go to, and because if she got to the point where she got me there, and like, I'm a pretty much a nice guy, but if you get me there, you really have to be trying to get me there. And then once I get there, I'm going to stay there for a while, and it's not because I want to, but you done pushed me so far that, I'm here now,
turn up.
I'm like, I don't, and I've never laid hands on, I don't lay hands on women. I will walk away, but if you get me there and I don't get a chance to go to my place and let it register or try to come to myself, I'm going to stay there for a minute. I'm going to be mad, and I think the longest I've been mad was like 3 or 4 days. And I don't like going out, and that's why it's very important so that we have that place, and like, and it's not easy for me to get there, but so that's why I refuse to not spend that time that I need to relax, relate, and return.
Here's a motto, Adrian. Don't make us give that 10 years y'all gave us to the state, okay?
That is it.
I want to add one more thing.
That's a good one.
One more thing. Yeah, I want to add one more thing.
Yes, Parks.
When they said mental state, and that's why it's important for the woman to be a safe place, because when I was speaking, if I'm already thinking I had the potential to go to my dark side on somebody outside of my home, then once you hold it in and you don't have a place to release in your home to discuss it with your significant other, what happens is you start to project, and it's going to come out at an inopportune time.
Yep.
Because now you hold that frustration in, they're doing this, doing that, and if it escalates, it's just a pop out. That's what I fear. That's why you need that safe place. And that woman, that's what I meant when I said that woman can be your safe place. Supposed to be able to be that voice of reason to calm you down, to bring peace where there's chaos. In the midst of all the things you go through the day, when you get there, that's supposed to be able to bring that down. So when you're thinking about doing something, They can speak to you a certain way, touch your way,
Yeah.
bring you down.
Right.
And so that's how important it is. I just wanted to put that.
Balance.
So let me ask you men to complete this sentence for me. A man feels successful in his own home when?
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace, laughter, joy, food, cooking, love, all of the above.
Yeah, peace. Peace. Yeah.
When
Your
my
Your
wife,
family is safe and secure. Yeah.
when she's happy.
When she's smiling and laughing and enjoying life.
A man does not always want to make love. Sometimes he just wants.
Peace.
Ain't nobody gonna answer that one.
I
The rated
I
G
just want
version,
you to hold me sometimes, please.
the rated G version is to smash.
That's right.
Sometimes you just
Sometimes you don't always want to make love. Sometimes you want to throw you up on the ceiling fan.
I'm going to tell you that the faces were priceless.
I mean, being honest, you just, hey,
don't ask if you don't want to.
coloring book. Like,
That's usually a question. That's usually a woman's statement.
Yeah.
A woman don't always want to make love. Sometimes we just want to be held.
What you thought we was gonna say? Watch football?
I'm like, and people in hell want cold water. Like,
Yeah, we want to talk, then make love. There you go. Making love don't come in there somewhere.
Blessed, he don't know what to say.
We want to talk sometime. Then make love.
You can find us.
You want me to go to the grocery store? Like, what do you want me to do?
That's funny because I'm sure that Adrian, you couldn't be serious with that question.
Right.
I was serious with the question.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was going to get, but.
Hey, look, Adrian, Parks didn't even have one of them sensitive answers to that question. He couldn't even go deep on that
I'm laughing. I looked over at Parks and he was smiling like.
Yeah, he had nothing to say on that one.
Right.
Okay, you ready for this one?
Okay, go.
It's interesting. She thought she lost, but she actually won with me when.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
When she said, "I'm sorry."
She thought she lost, but she won with me when she came clean.
When she came clean, yeah. That's
Say
a
it
good
one
one.
more time.
She thought she lost. She actually won with me when she came clean. When she just came out with it.
Right.
You know?
Okay, I got you.
That embarrassment or whatever reason you didn't tell me. I'd rather somebody. I'll say that's across the board, but more so for my significant other. I just want them to come. I'd rather somebody tell me something than for me to find out another way, and I'm waiting on you to come to me or trying to see how you're gonna handle it. You was embarrassed or what's happened, and I think that's what I'm hearing a lot of the men talk about the ability to say I'm sorry because it means I'm clean, you know. And I shouldn't. It would feel a lot better if you did that on your own than for me. You know what? It upset me, and I don't know why it's so hard for us to demand apologies, but so hard to give them out.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
You know you're wrong, and it's just so hard for you to come back and say I'm sorry. Why is that so hard?
Yeah.
Somebody do you wrong, man. You all own them.
Right.
So I think the ability for them to come and say she thought she lost, but she was embarrassed and had to tell me and say that, but she actually. I'm gonna go with that one.
Very good.
Speaking on what Park said, like he hit on something. When a woman can come to you in her vulnerability, she thinks she's losing.
Right.
Actually, when you can be vulnerable to us, just like you would expect for us to be vulnerable to you, I'm like, yo, that to me right there, that's sexy. I ain't gonna lie, that's sexy because you can tell me that you felt embarrassed about something and you felt out of place about something, or you insecurity that you wanted to share with me because I know you don't like to get that out.
Right.
I'm like, I can rock with you on that.
Yeah.
You're right, girl.
Yeah.
You're right. You're all right with me.
Yeah,
So you actually are winning with me if you can do something like that.
Yeah. Because I was really trying to think of Woody's answer in White Man Can't Jump when Rosie Perez said that to him. You know, sometimes you win and you really lose, and sometimes you lose and you really win. That one threw me for a loop, Adrian. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good line though, because for me, in my relationship, to put it in such a way that I don't, put her out there too much, but there'll be times when she'll put a step, like she'll go out on a limb and try something or do something, but it'll miss the mark for me. But the fact that she showed up, that she stepped up to the plate, is a win for me. Like she may have felt like she embarrassed herself, or she may have felt embarrassed, missing the mark. But in reality, she won with me for her, like Ricky said, vulnerability is probably one of the most sexiest things about a woman. The fact that she showed up and, put herself out there was a automatic win for me personally.
All right, nephew, wisdom.
Very good. Anybody else?
To just touch on what Justin just say the girls are out with their friends. You know how sometimes girls like to talk bad about the men, but if you step up and say, no, that's not my man, and I'm not gonna let you talk about my man like that. If I lose my friendship because I'm not gonna let you talk, you won with me. You won. Stand up for me, even when I'm not there. Stand up for me when I'm absent. Yeah. And I'm going to work, coming home, paying all these bills and making sure that the house has everything. You ain't gonna let nobody talk bad about me when I'm not there.
It is.
Your mother, your sister, nobody.
Yeah. Nobody.
There you go. Especially that family dynamic.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, you won with me. I'll give you my whole check. You can have my check. Just make sure I can eat.
I notice with men, eating is a big thing, right?
Man,
What?
you know how to get to the heart. You ain't forgot that.
No, knowing how to cook is the thing.
Yeah.
We can eat all day.
Clarify, Carlos.
Because a lot of women these days don't know how to cook.
Don't want to cook.
They don't want to cook.
That's it, Will. That is
I'm an independent woman. I work too. And in them pots.
Yeah. But if you're bringing home the bacon, you need to put it in the pan.
Right. Right. Now, thank God my wife cooks. She studied in the kitchen under her mom and grandmother.
Yeah.
But a lot of these women, it's like, where were you all at when y'all were coming up? Weren't y'all not in the kitchen with your moms? I've been cooking since I was 7.
Me too. I was going to say, I don't really require that because I love to cook. You know what I mean?
I know how to cook. I did it as a bachelor. And so I'm good.
I was single for a long time, so I know how to cook. But it's an act of love. Like
it is. And that's what I was going to say. Now, watch this. The whole drag the knuckle caveman thing. If I'm at home all day and I got like a day off and stuff, and you've been out grinding, then no, I don't expect you to come home and take your red bottoms off and put an apron on. No, I'm not expecting that. But it's a beautiful thing when you wake up and you going, man, what is that I'm smelling? Mm-hmm. That's men. That's kind of how we think. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, she really trying to say something. And I ain't even gonna go to what does she want. I ain't even going to that. Okay. But if I know you made this effort, you know what I'm saying? That's like us bringing flowers to a man. If you do that to us, that's the same as us bringing flowers or red bottoms or something like that home.
If she really wants to get me, then either send me or show up with lunch.
Yeah.
I had the most.
I'm at work, and all of a sudden, here you come with some what?
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I worked the twilight shift at UPS. I was getting off work probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
My girl, she knew the last car I drove, I always left it unlocked. She pulled up. She did it one time. She pulled up at my job, and she had cooked up. I think it was like some chili or something. She put it in a little to-go, one of the little Tupperware.
Tupperware thing.
With a little note. That was it. It's just a matter of time at that point. Like,
wait till I get off.
There's nothing more beautiful than, you know, a woman that knows how to cook, because, I mean, I've dated girls that they couldn't make a ham sandwich with just bread and meat.
Nails put it on.
Not a ham sandwich.
Yeah, but I've dated girls, man. They just, I would, you know, they would come over, make me something to eat. I'm like,
yeah,
it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, but being able to cook, my brother taught me how to cook.
We self-sufficient.
So I was like, you know, I had to learn, because I was like, you know, he would always tell me, he's like, you need to learn how to cook first before your girlfriend or your wife comes through, because you're gonna have to cook those nights. You're gonna have to make food because she's gonna be pregnant or whatever. You're gonna have to step up. So I was like, you know, let me go ahead and start thinking futuristically. But yeah, there's nothing like, you know,
and it's because
being able to, you know, cook, and then when y'all can cook together,
there you go. It's romantic.
There ain't nothing like cooking, man.
And it makes it that much special because she knows that I can cook. You know what I'm saying? And she does it for me anyway. That kind of thing. Yeah. So she knows I'm self-sufficient, but the fact that she didn't want me to have to do that at that time. And watch this. And it shows you what era we in, because I grew up in a house where dinner was ready at 5 o'clock every night. We had to come in from playing and all sit down at the dinner table. So look how special we are talking about just somebody cooking for us. Okay.
Right.
That's where life is today.
I said to my son, I said, I want you to learn how to cook before you go to college, because I don't want you having girls in the dorm, if that's what you choose. Girls in the dorm simply because you're looking for a meal.
Yeah.
And they're looking for something else.
Because every now and then you'll run into that girl that I ain't your mama girl. You want some food, call your mama.
and you know that goes back to when I said it's not the cure-all.
No.
Your body is not the cure-all.
No.
That's the point.
My point exactly. Instead of watching me right here, this could be your fantastic business being advertised. If you'd like to be a sponsor of Slow Walking with Adrian, simply send us a DM on our Facebook page or our social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Send us a message and tell us, hey, I want to be a sponsor. We'd love to tell people about your fantastic business. So there you have it. On another note, for all of those who subscribe and befriended on Facebook and Instagram and so on, we absolutely love it. But the Slow Walking with Adrian is an actual YouTube channel. So eventually, it may not air on Facebook or Instagram because it's a YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask you to take this moment and mosey on over to YouTube right now and just subscribe and hit the post notification so that we can make sure we keep you up and about it on the episodes coming up. We don't want to miss you, and we don't want you to miss us. So now back to our show.
Let me ask you some questions, because there are women who are wanting some answers, okay?
All right.
So one of the questions is, how can we get our husbands to open up and talk?
Don't ask. When we're ready to talk, we'll be like, baby, can I holler at you about this?
Well, let's say somebody's been married for 7 years. He's not talking. How do you get that husband to open up and talk?
That's a hard nut to crack, because especially for Black men, and I'm going to say this really quick and then I'm going to let everybody else have it. Women have to get to a point to understand that that ain't in us. That's not what we were taught by African American fathers. You know what we were taught? Like Brother Mike said over here, you go to work all day, every day, you come home and you pay the bills. And men deal with issues. We deal with issues. If we don't deal with them physically, you know, by shutting somebody down, you sure don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So nowadays, Rick and Justin will have the advantage of a format like this to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to open up and talk, you know. But coming up like me, Carlos, and Parks and everything, like Parks mentality, he's not supposed to be speaking so emotionally the way he does based off of where we came from. You feel me? That just wasn't us. That just wasn't what was taught. So sometimes I think women have to understand that there's a difference. That's all. And y'all have to be really cunning and unique and everything, because you can get in there and get us to talk, but you just can't come straight at us with it. That's the way I look at it.
Give me an example. If somebody will give me an example of how a woman can get a man to talk without coming straight at him. And I know we've already talked about asking all the questions, and grilling can be interrogating, and men hate that and they shut down.
Right.
I heard a profound statement from another man who says, the problem with me shutting down is when I shut down, I don't know how to turn it back on.
Exactly.
That was very profound. But give me an example, because we're talking, but what does that look like for a woman who's trying to get her husband to open up and not come at him directly?
That's not one size fits all. You have to know your man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you got to take time to know him. I'm a musician. I'm a creative.
Right.
So what works for me is not going to work for a construction worker.
Exactly.
Right. So give me an example.
I will say this though. I agree with him totally. It depends on the person. That's why every woman should know her man. I think that's what happens with women. They try to generalize and say all men are this. No,
yeah. Right.
All men thing, and then they talk to women about the men, you know, and then they say, well, why won't men open up? I have a saying that I do when I do comedy. Women want a man to do what they already have in their mind. Men want women to help them sort and express what they have in their mind.
I'm sorry, say that statement one more time.
Women like a man who can do what she already has on her mind. Men want a woman who can help him express what's on his.
Right.
What I mean by that, the example is, you ever been talking to your spouse and you're trying to tell her it was like this, and then she say it, and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
It's just that. You know what I mean? And I think my man hit it right on the head. Everybody has to know their own partner's love language. Mm-hmm. You study yours.
Right.
And you know, another thing is, don't try to do according to your expectations instead of according to what he needs.
There you go. Right.
I think we all have expectations, and if don't go the way we expect it, we're trying to work it out the way you got it in your mind instead of what he actually needs. It would be the me bringing you roses and you don't like roses. You like purses, flowers for you, but you want a purse. But I'm gonna give you what I want to give you because everybody else says flowers is romantic. I give you what you need, what you say you like. So now you need to find out what I like, what I need, and then let your expectation be that I get what I like and what I need, and vice versa.
Right.
Right.
Good.
His need, then cultivate the atmosphere around what he needs in order to be that person that you want that you want to see.
And some men you can't get it all at the same time.
Oh.
You know, sometimes you have to do it in maybe little increments or spoon feed. And then when you feel the tension rising, you have to be able as the woman to say, okay, I know I need this, I know I want this, but right now I'm not gonna get it if I keep pressing. You know what I'm saying? And instead of saying, well, why can't you just say it, or why can't you just do whatever? You know, and it all goes back to every single one of us on here every single one of us has somebody different in their life. And so there's no rule book, there's no one rule we can put up here, just generalities. Know the person that you with and be able to deal with them not only from your perspective. That's the whole key. It's always about your perspective. And that goes both ways. Sometimes us men, we have to put ourselves and say, well, she needs some conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? I just can't caveman her right now or man cave her right now and say, no, I have to mute the TV or turn it off, turn my chair and say, okay, so what is it that you need right now? You know, and I've learned too, if you go ahead and do that, then she won't come back in the third quarter with the second half of that conversation. Sometimes obedience is better than sacrifice. Just go ahead and bite the bullet and get it done.
Yeah. Very good. Let me ask another question, okay? What do you need from us when you're at your breaking point or dealing with something really tough?
Comfort and understanding.
I didn't hear.
Comfort and understanding.
Support. Yep.
Support.
Yeah.
Comfort and knowing you got our back. You know, however you display that.
Yeah.
That's critical for us.
Make it louder. Don't make it heavier.
Right. Even if it's our fault. You know, help us breathe for a second.
Exactly.
The late great E.V. Hill tells he has a sermon where he eulogized his wife, and he talked about how he lost all their money in a gas station. He wanted to buy a gas station. He said, I lost my shirt. When I came home and told my wife, she said, well, I've been figuring. You don't smoke. You don't drink. We've been married X amount of years. Let's call it even. And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Because watch this. What gets us as men, and hopefully I can speak, but I'm just speaking for me. If I tell you I'm going to the store or to play golf or whatever, and your response is always, well, how long are you going to be there and who you going with or whatever, that's going to make me want to stay.
I hate that.
The first time you say, oh, great, I'm glad you need that. Have fun. That's going to make me say, no, I'm not playing the extra 9 holes, dude. I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the approach. It's 100% the approach with me.
Men, we need that peace. We need that peace. We need that place again where we can come and lay our head in your laps and be comforted. That's the bottom line. And I think everybody on here will agree with that. It's like we need that, you know, outside of our man cave. It's like we'll give you all the time you want, but can I lay my head in your lap and feel comfortable
and be vulnerable? Ironically,
and be vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that women should be our wives, and our spouses, significant others should be our CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer.
Wow, I like that.
You can't get encouragement from nowhere else. You need to be our greatest cheerleader. Yeah. Don't tell me what I can't do. Mm-hmm. Tell me I can do anything, especially when I'm at a low point. I need you to encourage my heart and remind me that I'm a great dude. I can do absolutely anything I put my mind to. Mm-hmm. Even when I'm failing, I'm tearing up everything.
Right.
I need her to be my CEO.
Right.
I think a lot of that stems from just that power that women, again, retain. Women can speak to a man in such a way that you can make him feel like he's on top of the world. Just by the words you speak to me, I will go out and get you another world so that you can inherit that one, because the one you living on ain't good enough for you. Because just by the words you speak to me, if you can tell me I'm the man every day, baby, ain't nobody like you, go out there and get that money. We are making it because of you right now. We are making it because you're the king. You're the man. If you do that, I mean, I'm not gonna go out in here and try to hear it from somebody else, regardless. other women can tell me, they're like, "Oh, you cute." I'm like, no, I'm good, because my baby at home tells me that every morning before I leave, and she tells me that every night before I go to bed. So when I wake up, I'm feeling refreshed again. So it's like, we need to hear that. And like my brother said, you are our greatest cheerleader. But the moment where you F up is when you tell us that we're opposite of that.
Yeah.
Then we gonna hear it from somebody else that
we have to know you believe in us.
We have to know that, period. And I mean, I'm sorry, ladies, we're not gonna go out here and dog you out or anything like that. It's just, that's just the truth. You want us to call you everything but a child of God when you wake up in the morning and say that you can't do it?
Yeah.
Well, why would you do it to us?
I think Rick made a real important point that a lot of women don't, and people don't like to be real about it. And that is that if you are not that place, if you don't do those things, there is always somebody.
Yep.
It's real. They're real.
Feet up over here. As Carlos said, you can lay your head in my lap.
Right. Yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cheap. This
man.
What's that song? Clean Up Woman.
The best man broken. The best man broken will fall.
Right.
Because of the belief that should have been placed in him.
Yep. By the woman.
Like you have other people sitting back watching. I know people who sit back and watch couples.
Oh yeah.
Watch married couples and say, her game ain't tight.
Right.
Her game ain't tight.
And what? Yeah.
And don't be no cheating guy either. Be a guy.
Right. Right.
Stable. See, they don't want the cheaters. They want the guy what? Stable.
Right.
Family. And they all saying, I wish I had that.
Yep. Yep.
And
never devalue that person that you're with, and think, because belief system is extremely important.
Yeah. And they look at all of the stuff that you have, the cars, the house, the clothes, the kids, and everything. But what they see is the one thing you don't have. And that's when they come out. Man, and I'm gonna give an example, a real one. This is years ago, but man, I was getting on the tour bus to go to play, and we got into a little argument in the car, and it lasted until I got on the bus. And one of the girls in the band didn't say nothing to me. You know what she did? She handed me a key. She said, "Here, I ain't never at my place because I stay with my boyfriend. And if you ever need a man cave, basically, here." Now, taking that key is the end of your life, okay, with your person. But those are the kind of things that happen. So, like Clark says, the only way to experience that is through the constructive communication of what you need and what I need and what I'm missing. Because sometimes what you're missing is way important, more important than what you need and what you get. And I'm gonna leave that.
80-20 rule. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And 80-20. Is 80-20 now?
Obviously, as mates, we're constantly readjusting and realigning ourselves to make sure we're meeting the needs of the other person.
How can she readjust and be something different?
She has to be attentive. She definitely has to be attentive and reading and understand his cues and know his cues and whatnot. Because just like they were saying before, how, you know what I'm saying, like where at one point I might need like encouragement and verbal exhortation and things like that. And in a different instance next week, that might not do it for me. I might just need you to just be silent, stick by me, you know what I'm saying? Be that physical presence silently. You know what I'm saying? It all has to do with the need. So she has to be up on his cues and be attentive to what he needs in that moment.
Know your man and read the signals. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because we all have a playbook for a sport.
Man.
That's simple one too.
Study the playbook.
That's a simple one.
Read the play. That's right.
Let me ask you this. When a man has gone into his man cave, what is a sign that he's ready to come out of it?
When he walks up to you and give you a hug or apologize or do something and literal. I mean, that's a literal question for the mental as well. I ain't even talking about the physical man cave. You know, a man is coming out of the man cave because we gonna let you know. We go, baby, I didn't mean to do that, or I'm sorry, or something as simple as, baby, you're hungry, let's go get something to eat. That means we back.
I was gonna say, let's say he's not in there because of conflict in their relationship.
I mean, whatever the reason you in there,
he comes out.
We just come out. Yeah, we just come out.
Ain't no more reason to it. We just let's go.
Yeah.
That's over.
And we leave it in there. At least I do. I don't bring nothing out of the man cave that caused me to go in there in the first place, unless I'm just in there creating, like Park said, and playing my guitar or having fun. But if I go in there because of conflict, if I have to flee this conflict to go in there, whatever was in there, I'm gonna leave it in there, and that's how you know I'm out, because I'm not coming out with the same thing going on. Period.
My line when I'm coming out of the man cave is, and it's the grammar is deplorable, but you done ate.
You done ate, exactly.
You done ate.
But the funny thing is, you used the word deplorable before you talked about.
I had to balance it.
And we know you know the King's English, Doc. But yeah, that's a signal. You done ate. Now watch this. That's Justin's signal that he out. When you hear that you done ate, then you know he out. I might use that myself, Jay.
That's a good one.
When a woman is in the dating process with a man, when should she divulge personal, private information?
You have to ask them Dayton brothers that. I'm out of that one.
I feel like I think it like Park said, everything should go. It should grow organically. Everything should kind of be. Like, it'll happen when it needs to happen. Nothing needs to be rushed. Everything, when people start talking, it's like, oh, so what's going on? What's going on? Let it just happen. Let it just be a conversation. Let it be something where y'all in the park and y'all having that moment of romance and y'all decide to be vulnerable. It'll be, that chemistry will be there to where she can release that information, or when he can release that information. It shouldn't be rushed. It shouldn't be a time sensitive kind of it should be something that grows organically.
Everybody,
go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Everybody has their own comfort zone. Whenever that person is comfortable, it doesn't matter what time it is. Once you feel comfortable to do that, then that's on the individual.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you when it's never gonna happen. The biggest red flag of all is what I call small talk. If you got what you eat today, what time did you get up, what you gonna do later? If you have nothing in common but small talk, that person's gonna never open up to you. They're never gonna be vulnerable because y'all ain't. Small talk isn't. You remember when you hang up? No, you hang up. You know them 4 or 5 hour conversations. That's the person that you know that you have a potential relationship chance at. Okay, but that small talk, I can't handle it. That means I got no chemistry with this person whatsoever. So I don't even need to know what her deepest, darkest secrets are.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I just had this conversation day before yesterday. Me and my wife was talking about this, and I was telling her. Also, I had a talk with my daughter yesterday, and we were talking about divulging certain information. And sometimes you can't give certain information because they may feel like it's going to jeopardize the relationship, even if you've been talking for a while. You know, things like people will ask questions. How many sexual partners you had? Then they want, well, why'd you like him? Then they want to know, it leads to more and more questions. So when is it good? Is it always good to know everything? To divulge everything? And I agree with Michael Durham. You know, it's going to depend on that person and the timing of that person, how it's going to fit them circumstance, because that's where we get the saying from. There's some things people going to take to the grave, man.
Man.
Sometimes ignorance really is bliss.
It's 100%.
And then sometimes we think we want to know everything. We don't.
Be careful what you ask for.
Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So be careful when you start asking about somebody's past and this, you want details of this. And it's just the nature of a woman. They more detailed, they can go buy something, that's what they do. They beautify. They bring beauty. They do all these things. They go get the purse and the this. You like this purse? I don't know. You like it? It's good. It's nice color. It's got this compartment. Let me show you up the compartment. I ain't gonna never use it.
Right.
I never use it.
It's not gonna be in the inside of your purse, but you gonna little pockets they got in it. Look at this, baby. It's got this in there, get in there, because they're excited because that's what they do. They're detailed in their thinking.
Right.
Sometimes you want to be detailed in the things you want to know.
Yeah.
If you want to do that's why I say be careful about digging to a man, because it is a double standard whether you want it or not.
Exactly.
10 women, you can see 10 guys, you're gonna be viewed different.
Yep.
That's the perception that they have out there. And so if you're not ready to be questioned on that 10 you got over there, then be careful how you question on the 10 over here. Don't be a deal breaker. If the person is into you, be into that, and then be careful of the questions you ask. Don't be flighty with it. So the things, I agree with Michael Durham, man. He hit on the head. It's timing and knowing that person, and you just gotta see where they go. I really appreciate the truth, though.
Yeah.
The truth about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we overlook all that. We just say we all know what we're thinking, but we're not gonna say it.
Yeah. Right. A wise old man told me one time, don't go looking for trouble because you'll find it. Now watch this. People have taken that to be, oh my God, if I go in her bag or if I go in his bag, I'm gonna find a crack pipe or I'm gonna find a condom no, the trouble is what you actually find. And that's mentally too. So if you go looking for trouble and you asking a bunch of questions and you find out that he went out with your sister in high school, you went looking for trouble and you found it. So, trouble is not a physical thing all the time. Trouble can be, like Park said, just finding out that one piece of information you could have went your whole life without knowing.
Right. I'm gonna say it like this: sometimes you know what not to ask. All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know what not to ask. Like I was married for 15 years. Then my wife passed away. Then when I started dating again, if I dated somebody who had never been married, I already know in my mind that they probably done been with more people than I have because I was married for 15 years. So I'm not going to ask that person about their past. So you know exactly what kind of question you want to ask and what you want to know about. Because if you ask the wrong question, you're going to get your feelings hurt.
Man, what? No doubt.
Or just adding on to that with the time aspect, I feel like the heaviness of the information should match with the foundation that's been able to build. So if your foundation is this small, you ain't got no business asking no question this big.
Yeah, that's good, man.
That's real good.
And that is, should a woman, there's this concept that women talk about. I shouldn't say concept. Women have experienced what they feel are shy men that will not approach. They are just too shy to approach. Before I ask my next question, let me ask what your thoughts are on that.
I think it's a confidence thing, honestly. Yeah. I think it's, some men just don't feel confident to approach a woman because maybe there's a,
insecurity.
Or I don't know. It's
fear of rejection and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fear of rejection. Like I've approached. There were girls that I was interested in. I was like, man, she. I just maybe feel like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to be rejected because nobody want to, you don't want your face cracked. So
right.
Well, maybe it's my age or whatever. But I learned that the girl that you think is the prom queen, the most unapproachable one, is usually the one that's the most down to earth and that you can talk to because she never gets approached. Because all the other 8 brothers and you the 9th brother, I learned that the hard way because you know why? I met a girl later in life and told her how much I admired her and wanted to take her to the prom and everything. And she said, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you say that? And I'm like, because I wasn't the quarterback. You know what I mean? And she said, who said I wanted the quarterback? So I learned it doesn't matter the beauty level. I mean, some women you can tell if you ain't got it going on, you need to not be with her. You feel me? The diggers. But I look at it like I need to not be with her. Okay, because if that's what it takes, then so be it. But there's some women, man, that are just so beautiful and sweet and quiet and always by themselves. Carlos can tell you, my first wife, Robin, it's like I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? But it's because they never get approached. But I found out, and maybe it's because of my age, that it's not really about what you can offer her or whether you're shy or scared or whatever. Like Park said, if it's meant to be, it'll be meant to be. But nothing beats a failure than a try. That's what I look at it. Like Yoda said, no try, only do.
Should women approach men?
Yes.
Yes.
It depends on what they want on the other end.
I'm shocked. I really am shocked.
Yes.
I feel like it's hey, if you want to come to me and you look good, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
It ain't about that. It's like we enjoy flattery every bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, not every man feels that way.
It's a no-go for me. I'm be honest. I'm not gonna take.
I think it's situational. Because I can think of times that I've been approached and it was a turn off, but then the opposite is true as well.
I didn't say it would work, but try.
I think it depends on who's approaching you.
There you go.
That's a good point.
And how they're approaching it. It doesn't have to be like a man trying to pick up. It could be just conversation. You know, those icebreakers, you know, usually if a woman starts a conversation or gives a smile or whatever it is, most men will take it from there. You know, it's just an indicator. And that goes back to that last question, you know, giving that indicator is something that if women should do. And I find a lot of times, sometimes you don't think because of their smile, you know, and not seem like they're looking at you or anything. You say hi, then they perk up. But if you're too shy, if the man is too shy, then that would just walk right on by and she'd be asking that question. I wonder why I didn't say anything. So women can start conversations. It don't even have to be about, you know, hey, you know, something like romantic. It can just be, hey, how you doing? You like this picture? You like this art? It's a good concert, whatever it is, you know?
If Janet Jackson approaches me, I'm saying something to her.
Well,
She can approach me all she want now.
Most of the time, Kim and Sue, you ever been to the grocery store and walk by that person and you don't say a word, but as soon as they get by you, you go like, whoa, what was that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I look for.
I think a lot of communication is nonverbal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of communication, especially with women, is body language.
Yeah.
And I like when a man said you indicator. I've been shy all my life.
Me too.
I can remember back in high school. This is no joke. I never approached. They always approached me.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a certain definite indicator. That's the way I went through whole life. You know, I know that may sound surprising when you think a person sings or he's a performer and there's a certain stereotypes that come along with that, but it's not necessarily true, you know. And I just, again, that word organic keeps coming up. Organic. They sing you in the right way. You read body language, you know, and things of that nature. Those are indicators, and then those things work. It just has to be done the right way, you know.
Yeah. Because it's a big difference in, like they said, who approaches you. Right. You know, if now I'm a big person that, you know, I was a shy person, you know, but I eventually grew out of that. But if a lady came up and wanted to talk to me, if it was probably not, I'd flat out turn that. But if it was Halle Berry, I'd be all in.
I don't care if you're crazy.
I'll be husband number 5. I don't have no problem with it.
You're gonna make me have to edit this tape. So,
let Nikki Murphy walk up to me. let Nikki Murphy walk up to me. I'm gonna forget about everybody else in the room.
Plus the other thing about being approached, and you can edit this if you want, but I'm gonna be like Justin and keep it real. We can tell if you're working or not, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. And I mean by that, if you coming up to me because you think of what I got, like my man on the video that does the gold digger videos, I love it because he's sitting on the Lamborghini and it don't take but 5 minutes to find out what she about. So I like what Brother Wood said, is that it don't even have to say nothing though. It's the right smile, it's the catching of the eyes from across the room. To me, that's the most beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
I guess that hints on my last question that I was going to say, and maybe you can expound a little further, and that is the women wanted to know what makes a woman approachable.
What? Say it again.
What makes a woman approachable?
Body language.
Body language.
Body language, for
Body
sure.
language.
Oh, yeah.
Well, appearance and not a superficial way. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean because your dress is tight and your heels are banging. I mean the appearance. You can tell just by looking at somebody what they're about. You know what I mean? Because I always had this problem with y'all sisters, and I'm gonna do it like that. Is that you gotta have some mirrors in your house somewhere. And when you get to where you going, you get upset because a brother is peeking. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, don't get mad at me. You knew what you looked like when you left the house. So, but and a lot of cats, they don't, guys look for women that like their mother. That ain't me. That's kind of
I don't.
But to me, what makes a woman approachable is her smile. 100%.
Yes.
That's just for me.
Yes.
If she got the right smile, there's so much said in the right smile, and I don't mind you being a little shy. I don't mind you being a little, first lady I met, she was holding the Bible. She was a part of the praise tape. I mean, the altar tape, and she got my attention holding the Bible up in the middle aisle. Okay. So it's like, it's just the smile, it's just the pleasantness. It's the aura around you. Now, if you out just fishing on a Friday night, then yeah, you're looking for the red bottoms in the whole nine, but that ain't what we talking about now. We talking about relationship stuff.
Absolutely. I would definitely, Uncle Mike said, like, smile means everything. It's inviting,
Yeah.
And if you're smiling, I'm like, that lets me know, like, now you either scheming or you really like, you're really just who you are. Like I that's what really, attracted me to my girlfriend, her smile. I was like, okay, cool. Like, she has a beautiful smile, and just it organically grew after that. I was like, okay, cool. It made more sense.
Because a woman can tell you she loves you in her smile. Am I right, nephew?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. For me, I think it's about classiness too.
Yeah.
And I guess, as you get older, because, trying to talk, if I was younger, I'm 56, but if I was younger, like my sons in their 20s and stuff, you don't find, I don't pretty much see too many young, classy women because they want to show everything. They want to show everything and they want to do everything, but then when you try to approach them, then it's like they want to tell you to get out their face or whatever. Well, you're wearing inviting stuff, so evidently you wanted somebody to come and talk to you, But for me, the smile is one, but class and elegance will get me every time.
Yeah. Beware of the women that stand out there near the valet parking.
I don't know. When I went to California and around, I think 2009, 2010, and it seemed like the most beautiful girls were working in the Starbucks. and they were just down to earth and just real chill. But in this day and age, like, you know, like Uncle Carlos and Uncle Mike said, like, everything is so revealing now. But then I approach you and you got all these guys approaching you, then you want to go ahead and tell people to get out your face, and you being disrespected because people are catcalling. Well, ma'am, if the presentation is there,
right,
what do you expect for me to do? Because that's what your presentation was. If I'm a guy that's looking to just smash and you got what I'm looking for, I'm like, oh, that's easy.
Right.
If I'm a guy that I'm looking for something classy, or, you know, if I'm looking for somebody that has that elegance, then I'm going to make sure that I present myself what I'm looking for.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, if I'm just some hood dude, that's what I'm looking for. But if I'm a gentleman, then I'm looking for that. I'm looking for somebody with longevity, long term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If what she got on when you meet her, you can't take her home to meet your mama, she probably not the one.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's old school right there. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good, Uncle Mike.
Well, I am going to wrap it up and tell you all thank you so very much for your time and your vulnerability and all your words that you said. A lot of words of wisdom coming from the youngest to the oldest. Just a lot of wisdom. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm sure the women are going to review this before we do our she shedding recording.
That's all the time we have left for today. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the men coming on the show and expressing their heart and being vulnerable. I appreciate that. You know, when they started talking about their father wounds, the room got really quiet, and it got really quiet, and I just appreciate them expressing that. I was enlightened. I hope you were too. Coming up, we're going to take a break for this Wednesday coming up, and we're going to resume on May 12th, the Wednesday after Mother's Day, because we're preparing for our She Shedding episode, which will start on May 12th. It is going to be phenomenal. The women kick it up to a different level. We have a great lineup, and you're going to really enjoy it. I know you will. So I'll see you then. Until next time, I'm Adrienne Lavella, reminding you that life can throw us so many challenges, but we will get through it together. We'll love together. We'll forgive together. We'll heal together. Let's do life together. I'll see you on May 12th for the She Shedding episode.